Hey, gentle reminder for you, authentication check will soon become a mandatory part of Trezor. You know, at Trezor, of course, protecting your digital assets is our highest priority. As part of an ongoing commitment to your security and in alignment with global cryptocurrency regulations, we're introducing Authentication Check, a new security feature designed to provide greater confidence in the safety of your crypto transactions. So if you're on these devices, what you gotta do is scan the QR code to prevent any disruption to your Trezor suite access by February 15th. If you don't, your access to Trezor may be limited. Maybe some things are unavailable or you have limited functionality. So, hey, you take out your phone and you try to scan this QR code here. But if you do try to scan that QR code as of right now, the website that it redirects you to can't be reached. Trezor.authentication-check.io is unavailable. And you know, that's a good thing, because if you weren't able to tell, this is a scam. It's a lie, it's a phish, it's some social engineering, but a clever cutesy tidbit is that this was a physical mail, literally snail mail, sent through postage, a physical envelope and letter sent in the mail. Now, I know you probably get spam in the mail all the time, right? Like fake car insurance warranty crap, but this I thought was just a little neat because it's literally like a digital phishing social engineering attempt to get your cryptocurrency wallet sent via pigeon. Not literal pigeon, but you know, like real world mail, as opposed to where we usually see phishing in your email inbox. Funniest thing is, you might have saw it, it had a signature from the Ledger CEO, not Trezor. But I was a little curious, okay, where did this QR code lead? What was on or present or shown in that scam website? Since the site is down, I was taking a look at the Wayback Machine, but unfortunately, I did not see any results. It does not have that captured. But of course, some of my friends were talking about this thing too. You know Flare, they are a huge supporter of the channel and the sponsor of this video, so I wanted to be sure to give them some love. But scammers are targeting crypto users through the mail. And they caught wind of this while it was still hot. I'll admit I am a little bit late, but big shout out to Dimitri for sharing this thing. They include the picture that was shared on Twitter. They talk a little bit about the letter, but then they get to the site. So this is the landing page. Trezor.authentication-check.io/black is where it puts you, and this looks dumb. Like, this just looks stupid. Okay, complete the authentication setup by February 15th, so add a little bit of urgency, add a timeline to it. If you purchase these cold wallets, it's got some bogus down at the bottom to try to add some credibility, but the submit page, where they actually bring you into this, you have to enter your recovery phrase, which should sound off so many alarms and, you know, sirens and red bells ringing in your head. No, do not enter your wallet recovery phase to verify device ownership and enable authentication check. That is the scam. That is the social engineering. That is the phish. And a couple other folks are chiming in. Hey, it's not only Trezor that you're seeing some of these strange mail and in the real world physical sent letters to. Another one from Ledger. The Ledger one is using a similar, just subdomain based off of any generic domain to add Ledger or Trezor at the very start. That domain and website, of course, has been taken down as well. You can see Google Chrome added the usual dangerous site banner, but if you were to fall for this, right, if you were to enter your wallet recovery phase, that's the master key to your whole crypto wallet. So then the threat actor, hacker, and attacker adversary would drain the wallet and steal all the money in that crypto account. Alarm bells, sirens, you don't give out your secret recovery key phrase. I was looking through the comments on this post and it was pretty cool to see Trezor out and about like, hey, stay safe everybody, we don't do that. We'll never contact you first, don't share your wallet backup with anyone, don't just trust but verify. Big hearts, dig that for sure, appreciate it. Now I think there's more of a story to tell here other than this individual incident, because you gotta wonder and ask, okay, how do you get the customer physical home address locations to send legitimate real mail, right? I'm over on Breach Forums, one of the well-known cybercrime forums, organized cybercrime. And granted, this is a post from yesterday, so the timeline doesn't really line up, but I know that this is sort of ongoing. A user posts a thread, I'm putting up for sale a fresh database of Ledger customers, obtained via a breach of the global e-payment gateway on January 5th. Whatever 100,000 plus unique entries, 68K, and a little bit of a Costco free sample for you to see, some of the data that's included there. Obviously, that includes a physical home address. That's the damage of a data breach, right? Your customer data, personal identifying information published out to the world, available for then sale and resale. Now, I had tracked this down with Flare, the threat exposure management platform and solution, I'm a huge fanboy of. They have incredible, super cool research and insight. I was taking a look at what some of the threat actors, hackers, and cyber criminals are up to, how they're chatting about this over on the dark web or those Tor onion links. Again, this post is very recent, so not in the exact timeline before the letters would have been sent out via physical mail. But look at this, someone saying, hey, cold storage private databases are needed for my campaign. Ledger, Trezor. But trying to track that one down, go to the source, look at that on exploit.in. That is a pay-to-play forum, but I've got an account, and unfortunately, hey, that one doesn't have the item. Post is not found. You saw the breach forum post where the user was selling a database, but here was one a bit further back, February 19th, over on exploit.in, and that link should actually come through for us. Yeah, crypto database for sale, posted on January 20th. Best crypto database available for sale. Message me with money. People are like, yo, these are literally public, dude. Stop selling this crap. Oh, usual cybercrime high school drama. Hey, that is some of the sweet, awesome advantage that you get with Flare, a threat exposure management platform with seriously incredible visibility into the dark web, underground cybercrime, info stealer malware, ransomware leak sites, and your exposed attack surface for your organization. So cool. Link below in the video description. Huge thanks to Flare for sponsoring this video and their continued support of the channel. But there are more nerd nuggets here. Take a look. I wanted to showcase big thanks to Jeremy. Give him a shout out. I'll have a link below to his blog. Because after this real world physical mail, letter, envelope, snail mail hit the news, right? You can see Bleepy Computer covered it also in their own article. Jeremy writes this blog called Disrupting a Cryptocurrency Phishing Scam Abusing Telegram Bots. He says, hey, while scrolling Twitter, he saw a little repost recycle from the crazy cat guy with an active phishing campaign targeting Trezor users with physical mail. He got to dig into this, and then he noticed that the website, while it was up, was actually sending the data right to Telegram. Oh, a classic. We could have expected this. It submitted the data directly to the Telegram bot API without proxying it through a backend, which meant the token, the bot token, was public to anyone who knew how to F12 Missouri hacking read the source. It included the bot token in the URL with the payload of, new authentication check, someone just fell for the bait, included their recovery phrase and their token and the current time. Then Telegram would respond with this info. Now I'm going to break out the JSON into a text editor, Sublime Text, so we have a little bit better syntax highlighting and you can see that more clearly. But here's our bot. Verger, also known as T5 bot, a little bit easier to say. That immediately revealed some information about our attacker, including the bot's username and the chat group that was used to exfiltrate the information. Then he queries the bot's get me endpoint, and this gives some of the metadata, some more of the privileges and permissions that might be configured here. Since the bot had the admin role, could delete messages, invite users, and manage the overall chat, he exported the invite link to himself to export chat invite link, and that let him see the other operators or potentially the threat actors in the exfiltration dumping ground. What Jeremy is building up to, which is super cool, is using some of the Telegram API to be able to listen in on the bot and see the messages that might have been sent back and forth, and then ultimately take down the Telegram bot. Now, we've showcased some of that process before on this channel, a couple other cool videos that show a little bit of that process more behind the scenes, but Jeremy was able to pull out one of the potential actors, right? We don't know, a first name Flexi and a username Flexi6T, and for the sake of Jeremy's blog post, and I will comply, he redacted a good many details here, just in case that hypothesis is wrong, right? He was able to get all this information, but that does leave a question mark. We don't know, maybe, maybe not. Is that individual the bad actor, the threat actor, the adversary? But because it can join groups, well, he could forward all the messages and see each and every one of the actual victim information that was provided. With that, he was able to see really when the campaign started, how many folks fell for the phish, and he was even able to find a second bot token. Part of me wonders if that would have been for Ledger as opposed to Trezor or any of the others that are trying to roll through with this campaign, but he walks through the process here. Web browsers are adding the appropriate deceptive site ahead, but the website was still accessible even with that warning. So Jeremy went ahead and, well, hey, thought, you know what? Okay, I could disrupt the operations here and inconvenience the operators by telling that API bot to leave. Now, the buttons that used to exfiltrate your data, your secret key, your Bitcoin covery or crypto wallet secret phrase, now no longer could exfil out. Cool! Little Good Samaritan neighborhood cybercrime watch for threat actors sending real snail mail for phishing scams of crypto users. So perhaps an extra exercise for the reader, maybe we wanted to track down what that Flexi Telegram account might be up to. You could use Flare. In fact, you could track down any of the sort of cybercrime, hacker, threat actor antics all across Telegram, group chats, ransomware leak sites, just incredible threat intelligence and deep, dark web research with Flare. Big thanks to them for sponsoring this video and their support of the channel. Please do show them some love, link below in the video description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.